Hello friends, Annette of AnnetteLeonard.com, back again with another moment for chronic wellness. And so I failed at IVIG because by the end of a few years with every administration, I was getting meningitis. And the likelihood of getting meningitis with subcutaneous immunoglobulin was radically decreased. Of course, getting just sort of the main line of IG products meant that it was flooded into my system at a much more rapid pace, even though I had slowed down the dosage, even though I was getting it in a bag of D5, which is glucose water, and I was getting it over the course of 5 days rather than all in one day or even spread across 3 days. And nonetheless, with pre-meds and all the things that we were trying, we could not prevent my body from having this side effect, this reaction of meningitis. And so subcutaneous IG held this promise of this even more slow administration because I was getting a weekly dose rather than a daily dose. I was getting it in the fat tissue of my body. My body was getting this glacially slow opportunity to absorb it into the tissues rather than getting it put into a vein, or in my case, into a port that was just, flooding into my system. It was now getting this immensely slow opportunity to absorb the IG. And so the promise was, I'm not going to get meningitis from it. I'm not going to get meningitis. And so I began the process of injecting myself weekly with IG. And for those of you watching on video, I am now going to insert some pictures, the only pictures I took of self-administration of IG. And they're not even very good. They're actually more of my little dog, which again, folks, speaks to wellness. Like, this is one of the ways that I kept my wits about myself during the process of 5 needles in the belly for several hours each week. She was my little furry companion and would stay close during the administration. I swear she's a little tyrant, and we have this 78-pound pit bull who is this giant teddy bear. She's scared of her own shadow. She's scared of loud noises. She's scared of almost everything. And then we've got this 12-pound Muppet who runs the show, as I think little dogs so often do. And she does seem to know when I need extra care and extra comfort. And she takes her job as a lap dog seriously. And so you will see, if you look at these pictures, that she is seriously on hand during the administration of these subcutaneous drugs. And so I began the process in earnest of weekly giving myself the subcutaneous IG, and 6 weeks in, when you know it, on comes the vomiting, which for me is the first sign, and then the crippling, unimaginable, head-splitting headache, and then rushing in to follow the other symptoms, that is meningitis, which for me is months of isolation and recovery. And so I called the pharmacy that was giving me the meds, and I called my doctors, and I said, I cannot, I will not. And, this is one of those questions that many of us with long-term illnesses and some folks with terminal illness have had to encounter, which is, at what point is the treatment worse than the cure? Or when do I have to choose over quality of life versus quantity of life? Because at that point, I was being given these IG products to sustain me while I waited for a lung transplant. And I was having to discern, will I be able to hold on with the lungs that I have until I get a new set if I don't keep going with this IG? And I don't know if I can keep going with this IG because it means always having meningitis. And that is a cost that was too dear to pay. I mean, if I was only going to have a few months left on this earth, I was not going to spend them in isolation, in darkness, in torturous pain, unable to eat, make a sentence, be around the loved ones that I cherished. And so I made the decision to stop subcutaneous IG, just as I had stopped IVIG. So for all of you out there for whom IG products are life-giving and life-saving, I am a little bit jealous and I'm so glad you have them. I'm so thankful we have the technology and the means and the plasma donors to deliver those life-saving meds to you. And for me, it was not meant to be. So tell me about your experiences, and we will continue the stories of infusing meds in upcoming days. And in the meantime, thank you for being here. And if you're listening to this by podcast, I would sure love your reviews and your subscription. I am grateful for you being here. And until we're together again, be well.